and hit record. All right, so I don't know who wants to go first. We didn't really talk about this. I sent them the questions that I had for them. So anyway, sorry guys. Hey, can y'all move that conversation somewhere else? All right, so I'm gonna mute myself in a second. I'm at my mom's house right now, so it's kind of crazy. All right, so let me just see. I'll have Liz go first, because it's on my screen, it's me, and then it's Liz, and then it's Heather, so it just makes sense for me to do it that way. I don't know how it is on your screen. So I'll have Liz go first. I don't know if you have the notes in front of you that I sent you, Liz, but first, why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about kind of the last however many months you've been with Plexus and kind of how it's going. Just go ahead and tell us your story, and then I'll ask you some questions after that. Gotta unmute yourself. Cannot hear you. I think I can unmute you if you need help. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and try now. Oh, wait. Why isn't it working? Cannot hear you at all. Heather, try to unmute yourself. Okay. Oh, there it goes.
What about now? Woo. What about now?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay, sorry. My whole computer went white. Literally the whole thing. I couldn't see Zoom. I had no idea what just happened, so I couldn't do a thing. Okay, sorry about that. Of course, the one time I'm supposed to talk, it's like, what do you know? So anyways, sorry about that. You want me to just go ahead and get started with my, just kind of go down the list? Okay. Do you want me to just?
I'll ask you. You go ahead and just tell us your story, and then I'll ask you the question.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So when I first started with Plexus, I watched Ashley for, I think it was 7 months, and I just didn't think that it was going to last. I didn't understand Plexus. I didn't know what it was, and I would just see it in my newsfeed, and I would keep scrolling because I just thought it was like a diet pill. And I thought it would be a fad. And so I was always curious, but never really wanted to hear too much about it. And then when I finally started getting a little bit intrigued, I remember going to one of her first opportunity events, and it was through Zoom, and it was through our upline, Amber. They did it together. And I kept asking, how do you get paid? I just don't get it. How do you get paid? And so anyways, I kept asking questions, and then I took it upon myself to do a little bit of research, and I would watch Plexus videos on the Plexus YouTube channel, and finally I saw the vision. So I joined Ashley 7 months later. In October, I just joined, and I saw the vision very early on because I waited so long, and I saw her benefiting from it so early on financially. So I finally got it. And then when she kind of explained more to me about how exactly we get paid and more about the comp plan, something kind of clicked. So when I first joined, I told her, well, I need some money to put towards grad school because we weren't going to be able to pay that with me not really working full time. So I joined for that reason. And I also joined because I was on Weight Watchers and it just wasn't working for like the millionth time. And I was at a plateau, and so I was ready to try something. I remember waking up that morning before I called her and weighing myself, and like I think I'd gained, and I'd eaten and worked out, but anyway, so I was at my wit's end pretty much, drew me to Plexus. So when I started, my why was I needed enough money to pay for grad school. And I figured I could do it, and I'm a pretty driven person. So I started out, just hit the ground running, and I didn't let anything hold me back. And the first day I joined, I can't even remember how many people I reached out to. I reached out to probably majority of my Facebook list, all my closest inner circle of family and friends instantly, as quickly as I could. Posted it immediately on all my social media networks. I was really excited about it. I saw the vision that I could make what I needed to for school, but I didn't quite get how much you can make with Plexus and what a bigger opportunity it was beyond that. So what really changed for me was I was watching diamond documentary after diamond documentary after diamond documentary. And I would just sit at night and just lay in bed and just watch these diamond docs and just see how, life changing it really was, just beyond, $500 here or whatever. And I got my first paycheck in November, and I finally got it. It really clicked for me, and I was like, okay, that wasn't that difficult. I worked here, I worked there, I worked hard, but at the same time, it was through my phone, and who's not on their phone all day? And I made it work for me. And when I got the check, and I remember telling my husband, oh my gosh, like I just got paid, and I joined at the end of October, and I still got a really good check, like a car payment check. And so it was like, okay, this can work. And then I really, my why really shifted to, okay, this is going to be the way that I don't have to teach. And this is going to be the way that I can be a stay-at-home mom one day. And, those dreams that I've had of adopting that we thought there's not a chance we could afford that can happen. Because I was fueling my belief with the diamond docs of people who have already done it and paved the way for me so I could model after them. And I was putting effort into my own business by working to, doing those income producing activities to get the paychecks that I was getting, So that's a little bit of my how my why started and why I started, and how it's really shifted and changed. And I remember when I first joined, I heard that from everyone, your why will change. And I thought, what are they even talking about? What does that mean? And my why has gotten way bigger because my belief has gotten bigger too. So
I love that. So basically the moral of the story is you start out and you have, you can't fathom the concept of what this business can do. And she was building her belief through diamond documentaries and through getting paid. So, I mean, that's big. I know when I got my first couple of paychecks, how motivating that was, because you don't want your paychecks to go down. You want to just keep growing and building through this business. And when it starts to bless you that way, it's very motivating. So that's why income producing activities are so important, and building that belief. So I love that. And I love that that's what clicked for you. I want everyone to figure out what is going to make this click. Okay. So my question for you, and I got some of you guys help me with these questions. What was the most helpful thing you've done for your business? Practically. So like Facebook party, sip and see, personal growth, that sort of thing.
I would say training. And what I mean by that is the calls. I did not miss a call ever, whether it was a sideline that someone had posted on Facebook, an opportunity call, something like that. Your Thursday night calls, I never missed a call. And if I did miss a call, it was because, I was gone. I was somewhere, something. But I think maybe 2 I've missed, and I was like out of the state, whatever. But calls, I plugged into the training like crazy. If I had not been on the training calls, and I wouldn't have known what I knew to work, because you hear other people talking and sharing what they're doing, and I was able to model after what they were doing. I was like a sponge, and I soaked in everything. And also, along with training, I'm going to say this is, not only did I go to the training calls and implement what I learned, but I took training upon myself, and I took initiative to look up stuff. I was glued to my phone, and I was glued to the very first small welcome kit that we used to get. I didn't go anywhere without that book in my purse with me. Anytime I talked on the phone or texted or Facebook someone, I had the book open. I had the pages marked where I needed to go. And I was researching our products, because I didn't know how they worked. I didn't have a clue when I joined this company. I didn't even know if they would work, but yet I still posted about it the first day I joined. And when they finally worked for me, like 3 days in, literally, or 4 days in, I'd lost like 3 pounds. So it was like, it does work. I want to know why. So training, every single training you can plug into, train yourself through research and read. Train yourself through your team pages, every single thing. Oh my gosh, I studied your team page and Slim Sisters team page back and front. I have read every file in there. I have gone over it. I have saved it. I've done everything. You've got to train yourself. And these training calls, every single one of you that are on right now, you are on the right path, because these are not to be taken lightly. And I'm shocked we don't have more, because the people who are not investing in this and these free business opportunities, they're really missing the mark. Because if you go to a job and you have a training at 7 a.m., let's say like teaching, you've got a training at 7 and, school starts at 9, all the teachers are going to be there. You have got to better yourself, and you have got to work on your development, and you have got to train yourself, or your business will not grow. This is not network marketing, it is network marketing. And you have got to work, and you have got to attend the trainings and train yourself.
I love that. That was like the quote of the day. That was great. All I can say is amen. And just the importance of the team calls. And then you need to, let me tell you, one of the first things I do when I sign a new ambassador, I tell them about the team calls. Because if I can get them fired up and excited week one, then they can kind of know what they're doing week one and get to know the upline week one. That is so beneficial to your team. So team calls are so important. And I appreciate all of you who get on. It's a pretty consistent, same people that get on every week. And typically they're the ones that are adding people and getting customers, because they know what they're doing. They're building their belief and they're training themselves. Okay. Something that's really important that I've been seeing a lot in the back office is a lot of you have really high PV. And then if you go over the compensation plan, you will know that you cannot rank up in the company on PV. You have to have points. So points are based off of team members. So this is my theory. If you can get a customer, you can get a team member. It's the same process of recruiting. So something that Liz has really gotten very good at is turning those customers into team members. And team members are more valuable to you in the long run than a customer. And let me also say this, that team members are also more likely to stick with you than a customer. Customers, for me at least, have been super flaky. I have right now 2 customers, 2. My PV is very low. I don't want high PV. I want a big team. And I really want that team to turn into workers. So Liz, how do you personally turn those customers into ambassadors? What has been your trick or your tips for us on that?
I would say constantly staying in touch with them. Make sure that you're keeping in touch with them as often as possible. Just like the follow-up system where you're, reaching out to them a certain number of days, like how Tiffany had talked about on that YouTube video you did. I keep up my follow-up. I don't quit following up with them once I've got them. Once you have attained a customer, the follow-up's not done. Your job is not done. You've got to keep in touch with them. And what I do is I keep in touch with them, and I keep following up with how they're feeling. And then the next month or right before it, I start working them and saying like, that you can save a lot of money if you switch over to wholesale. And, I tell them 99% of the people that join me do wholesale, and you'll save money. And it's a great way if you want, I can help you talk to your friends and family, and we can get them under you. If you would like to get your products paid for, I can tell you about that. And I also let them know there's no pressure if you don't want to work, but there is a community of team pages. So I really think it's just all about following up. I just don't, leave them out to hang and enjoy the products. I follow up with how they're feeling. Are they taking them correctly? How to take them? And then if they say, even if they tell me, well, I don't feel that much of a difference, I'll say, well, you should try it another month and then save some money then, when you try it this next month. I just try to target the fact that it is cheaper and, both of us win. And most of the time I've, gotten almost all of my customers to switch.
That's awesome. I know that one thing I'll add, because I know you're not going to say it, but Liz is very bold when she talks to people. So I know, hey, Titus, I know that if someone tells her, no, thanks, I'm just going to stick to being a preferred customer, she's still going to come back and say, are you sure you really will get it cheaper? And I'm not telling you to argue with people and twist their arm to get them to do it. But I think a lot of times people are so passive and they just accept the first time that they say, no thanks, I'd rather just be a customer, or I want the 60-day money back guarantee. Another tip, when someone says they want the 60-day money back guarantee, we have a 1% return rate. So I always tell people that when they say, well, I think I'd rather be a customer so that if it doesn't work out, I can get my money back. I say, okay, I understand. I want you to know though, we have a 1% return rate. So I want you to consider getting the cheapest price right off the bat, and then possibly getting your referrals for people to help pay for your products. So just keep that in mind, that you don't have to just accept their first response to that. You can kind of keep the conversation going and not pressure them, but guide them into making the better choice, which would be wholesale for them. And that's the better choice for you too.
When you talk to people, like Ashley kind of said how I'm bold, how she added that in. When you talk to people, whether they're already your customer or you're trying to get them to join your team or whatever, you run that conversation. So do not let them be the ones to guide it. And I don't know if that makes sense, but you need to be the one who guides that conversation, and you need to really direct them. You need to ask the right questions. You need to make sure that you are, promoting conversation where it's not just a one-way street. It's just like when you're trying to teach. If you've ever been in a situation where you're teaching your own child or whatever, you've been around kids or an adult, you're trying to teach them something, it's almost like you have a script. You know what you are going to say, but they don't know. If someone comes to me and says, well, I really would like to try it first, I'll just simply ask, well, why? I don't just say, okay, here's my website. No, I don't do that. I really try to really probe them with a lot of questions. You have got to really be in charge of the conversation with potentials. You really do. It's a job. You've got to be completely aware of what you are saying to them when you're talking to them.
Yeah, for sure. And there are scripts out there. I think I know there's some in different team pages, but I can try to find some scripts. But there are scripts. And I know that the one thing that I know Liz used in the beginning was her welcome kit training. And that was like nothing special. If you've gotten the new success kit, that is special. So go look at that and find out like the right answers and the right way to ask questions. Okay. So you talked a little bit about follow-up. So we're going to switch gears here a little bit. That was turning customers into ambassadors. Now we're going to talk about recruiting new team members, people that have reached out to you. And we always talk about the fortunes and the follow-up. And I tell you guys all the time, I have rarely ever made a sale, ever gotten someone on my team from the first conversation. It usually takes quite a bit of following up. So I want to ask you, Liz, what is your system? How do you follow up? How do you do that? And I know I can say this because I know Liz has signed up a lot of ambassadors after months of following up and working on them. So also be encouraged that this is just part of it, and this is something you have to be willing to do. And I know she's gotten really good at it, so I want to know how you do it.
Yeah, if you think that you're in this business for a month to try it out and see how it works for you, good riddance, because it's not going to work. You have got to follow up. That's where it's at. That's where the money's at. I mean, really, that's where this business is at. So my follow-up has changed. Oh my goodness, from the beginning when I first joined. So now I had a call with Sunday and a one-on-one call. And then I also watched a video of Diamond Ambassador Andrea Mitchell. And they kind of told me and talked about their system of follow-up, and I have a hot pink like box where I keep index cards in. I just got it at Staples, and I keep everyone's name on it. And when I contacted them, and you have the YouTube video of how Tiffany kind of explained it better in detail, and I know you posted it, and we can post it again because she explains it really good. But I just simply go through that system. I write the initial contact and the date that I did that, and then following up with them. I think it's like 3 days, you have any questions, 5 days. And then I send them different things like a testimony or product info. It's always needs to be something different. And I think that's key, is simply just not saying, oh, are you wondering anything else? Because most of the time, either they're not going to respond. I found out in the beginning the hard way, because they have a lot of questions. Duh, I had a ton of questions before Plexus. I didn't get it. They don't understand it yet. That's why they haven't joined. You have to really, like I said, you have to guide the conversation and send them those things. I send out diamond documentaries, testimonies, all different things. I use a lot of videos because I for one know that before I joined, I wouldn't read those long posts. I would not read the long testimonies. I never did. So I'm a big video person. So any diamond doc I can find that's similar to my nurse friends, I send them a nurse, who became a diamond, whatever. An incredible product testimony of someone who's had a great, transformation. I send them that. So that's the system that I use.
Yeah, check out that video of where Tiffany talks about it. We all pretty much use the same system now. And it's great because sometimes you feel like you're bothering people. But if you have a system, then you just look at it as, this is my job. This is what I'm doing today. And you just do it and you don't think about it. So that's nice because I know some people have a hard time wanting to follow up because they feel like, well, I'm just driving this person crazy. But if you think of it as your assignment for the day, then it's easier to do.
And I follow up with people even if they don't answer me. I just want to add that because I know a lot of people aren't quite sure what to do and they feel like they need to stop. I follow up literally until someone says, I am not interested. Like I've only had one person say it to me, and I had a girlfriend say, I am happy for you, but I don't want any part of it. And I said, okay. And I took her off. But every other person has either just ignored me or said maybe later. So I keep it up.
Yeah, the door is still open. If unless you get a flat out no, the door is still open. And even if you get a no, sometimes they might come back. So the door is really never fully closed. They can always change their mind. Okay, so what is your process for team training and duplication?
I try to post into my team page every single day, and try to involve them as much as I can. And one of my big things is the Zoom calls. I do a lot of three-way calls, and I think three-way calls are fabulous because my level 1 gets to hear me talk about Plexus, and their potential hears about it, and then they can turn around and do the exact same thing within their level 1, and so on and so forth. And I hope to get that kind of just duplicating all the way down into my team. When someone joins my team, I just make sure that I'm in touch with them a lot, and I tag them in certain things or send them certain things, like your video, different team page things, just to give them the right tools. But I don't, and everyone's different. Some people will cater to the people that join their team, but this is me. This is, I don't. I give them what they need, what I had to start, and that's about it. Because here's the thing is, if someone wants to succeed, they're going to, and it just takes that mental shift of when this Plexus gig is going to really click for them, that it can work and it will work. And I've got some people on my team who it took a little bit longer to click, but then it finally did. But I didn't bother them weekly and say, oh, don't you want to work now? Or, oh gosh, go look at this, go do this, do this. I give them the tools that they need and involve them as much as I can. And if they decide, not to work the business, then I let it go. I don't overly invest where there's nothing to be invested in, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the same way for me. If I do that initial training, try to set them up with the right tools, and then that's something that everybody needs to accept, because I know for me, when I first started my team, most of the people that I had in the beginning were not going to do anything, and I spent a lot of time there trying to, I think I told Heather the other day, it was like beating a dead horse. It was just completely pointless, and it was a time waster, and that is not income producing. So I would encourage you just to make sure you set them up well, and you're posting in the team page. That's definitely your responsibility as a leader. You need to be working that team page, even if they're not interacting. And then beyond that, you just kind of have to get out of their way. And if they go, great. If they don't, then they didn't have it in them and it didn't click. So you do your part, and then it's on them to be successful. Okay. Your favorite books that you've read so far?
My ultimate favorite one that I've read multiple times now is Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins. I've read it, I think 3-4 times now, and I absolutely love it, because every single time I learn something from her, and I like the way that she explains how she does things. And I've implemented a lot of what she does. And the first time after I read her book the first time, I saw a change in my business. I saw a shift. And so I try to refresh myself and read it, but I'm trying to read more personal development ones now, because that's, I think, where I need to grow more. But that's my ultimate fave, if you want.
Yeah, I agree. I saw a change in your business after you read that too. Talking about scripts, that book has a lot of examples of conversations and things to say and how to say it and how to have conversations with people. So that's definitely a good one. And I know a lot of you guys have the book, and if you haven't finished it yet, you need to go ahead and finish it, and not just read it, but really like reflect and apply what it's saying, because there's a reason that she's been successful and that her team has been successful. Okay, so last question is, what's your DMO? DMO, for those of you who don't know, is the daily method of operations, the things that you do every day when you sit down to work Plexus.
Okay, so I do not have a set like, and I know I'm different than some people. I don't have a set like I wake up, I do this, and then I do this at this time, and then I do this at that time. I don't have that yet. Maybe down the road I will. You know, I'm still evolving. But right now, my schedule is changing, so I'm trying to shift a little bit of how I do things since I just came off of a full-time teaching. When I was a full-time worker, if we have any full-time workers on here and everything like that, my DMO was I just made sure I got my stuff done, but I fit it into the nuggets of my day, which most of the time was my special time, the specials, and like lunch break, and then all evening long. But now when I have more of a flexible schedule, I still fit it in, but I just make sure that every single day I am posting in my team page. I am interacting in the other team pages. I am doing my minimum is 5-3-1. I try to do 10-6-2. Lately, that's been a lot harder for me because reaching out to 10, I'm really, I've reached out to everyone I know. That's basically everyone that I know. So I'm just trying my hardest to reach out to strangers as often as I can.
I'm going to interrupt you and explain 5-3. Can you explain what the 5-3-1 is for someone that's new? Let you explain it. My child is screaming at me.
Okay, so 5-3-1 is reach out to 5 new people every single day. So that's your potentials. That's your network that you haven't reached out to yet. Follow up with 3 people you've already contacted, and then you're going to train 1 person. And I always tell my team, I think of it as 5-3-1-1, because you need to train someone on your team and you need to train yourself daily. It does not need to be an option of today I'll train myself and tomorrow I'll train someone on my team. No, you need to train yourself daily. So anyways, I'm always constantly watching things to train myself. I mean, like I said, I don't have a set schedule per se, but as long as I do those things, I do the 10-6-2. I train myself every single day, whether that's reading something from a blurb or reading, a portion of a book or watching a video, something like that, reading a file in one of our team pages, even something. Trying to expand my network. I'm trying to focus on that now. Developing myself through devotions and prayer. I will tell you that this might sound cliche to some of you, but the times where I've prayed the most, my business has grown the most. And my actual IPAs, my income producing activities, have stayed the same, but and even less. I was actually traveling, and the 1 month I was traveling, my business grew the most because my prayer was just totally immense over my business. So that's my DMO. I hope mine and I made sense to a lot of people. It kind of was all over the place, but I don't have a set schedule per se. But as long as I take time for myself, I'd make sure I have my daily devotions, and then also training myself, posting in my team page, doing my follow-up box. I also not only have a box for following up for my potentials, but also my people on my team, even those wholesale buyers. I want to just check in with everyone to try to prevent white lines, and just making sure people don't feel like they're left out alone. But those are a little bit of my things that I make sure that I do every single day, every day.
Awesome. I think that's great. I mean, as long as you're doing the income producing activities every day, it doesn't really matter what your schedule is like. It's just getting those things done every day. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know that was very valuable. All right, Heather, we're going to switch to you now. I'm still learning Zoom. Okay, there we go. It worked. Okay. You can go ahead and unmute. I'm going to have you just start off. I'm so excited for y'all to hear from Heather. Heather is like the poster child for consistency and belief, and she's awesome. So anyway, I love Heather. I'm just happy for y'all to hear from her. So Heather, can you just share your story, how you got started, and kind of how it's going? How's it going for you, Heather? Take it away.
It's going well. When I started in July of 2015, and I had been seeing Ashle's posts for a while.
Can anyone else hear her?
Children and the development.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now. Did anyone else hear? Liz,
Okay.
did you hear all that? Okay. You started in July. That was all I heard. And then it
started in July. Rewind. I started in July, and I was seeing Ashley's post for, I don't know, a couple months. And I just didn't feel like that Plexus was for me. But yet, if y'all don't know me, I have 4 kids. The last pregnancy I had ended up being twins. So that was interesting. We doubled the size of our house, or doubled the size of our family in one fell swoop. So I was exhausted, literally. So I reached out to Ashley and thought, I'm going to give it, I also work at a school, so I have the summers off. And I thought, I'll give it 3 months over the summer and see what happens. So the very first week, it didn't take long for everything to start working for me. I mean, it's like, I was zooming around the house. I had tons of energy. I was wearing my kids out, and that is always a good thing. But when I first started, my husband Eric had a great job. We had just bought a car. We were looking at buying a house. And then all of a sudden, he lost his job. So we were like, oh man, Lord, we prayed before we bought this car. What is going on? And so soon after that happened, I went to a team meeting at Ashley's house just to figure out, like, what the heck did I get into? And what's this Plexus thing have to offer? I was not planning on being, turning this into a business at all. It was just the absolute best happy accident ever. So anyway, I saw the compensation plan. I came home and I told Eric, oh my gosh, look at this. I was like, can you believe this? And he was like, well, let's pray about this. So we prayed about it, and then we jumped right in. I honestly didn't think that anything could possibly come of it, because I've never sold candles. I've never sold Pampered Chef. I've never sold anything like this before. I've never done network marketing and didn't plan on it, but it really does work because it's Plexus. Plexus makes the difference in the world. But it just has made a big difference in our life. Now we are looking forward to, like, we still have a dream of a house that fits our family, and our kids see the vision. And when I sign a new ambassador, the whole family gets happy. My kids are like counting all the little ambassadors that have signed up under me. I am not kidding you. They're into it. They're Plexus babies. So life is good.
That's awesome, Heather. Okay, so your why when you started was to get healthy, I guess, like just products. And now your why is change. And what clicked for you, guys, this is like the moral of the story that I just got out of this. What clicked for you, I keep drawing it back to the moral of the story. I think Liz is laughing at me. The moral of the story is the compensation plan, knowing how we get paid and the potential that Plexus has made the difference for Heather. You guys have to know how we get paid. And that is definitely the responsibility of your upline. But guess what? We have videos. We have training materials. We have the chart. And if you want to work this business, we will go over with you step by step how we get paid. One of the first things sorry, I just hit my mic. One of the first things I did training-wise was hear about the comp plan. Jana went over it with me, and knowing how we got paid, when I knew what I needed to work towards, when I knew like what my goals should be, changed everything. So learn the comp plan. That's what I got out of it, at least. I know that was a light bulb moment for Heather. And another thing I'll say, I had no idea that it was a light bulb moment. Everyone left my house that night, and I was like, I don't know if anybody really cared about any of this, but evidently it made an impression. So go over with your team how they get paid, teach them how they get paid. It's important for them to know, and then they can work towards that. Okay, so what was the most helpful thing that you have done for your business, Heather, practically, that you've done?
Let me see. Well, I want to back up for a minute because to tell you one more thing that made it click for me, and what caused me to hustle. Not many of you who were around when I started, and we had a contest called November to Remember that Plexus started. It was just some random contest that the corporate ran. It was a 1-month contest, and you could win some pretty big money. The big prize was a $1,000 bonus, and you had to do some pretty insane things, like get 8 new customers, 8 new ambassadors, and have $1,500 in PV. And
8
I remember
new level 1s, not 8 new on your team. You had to personally sponsor 8 new level 1s, 8 new customers, and I can't remember what else. You go ahead.
It was $1,500 in PV. And I remember Ashley saying, all right, guys, what's your goal? This is a big month. You can do amazing things. What's it going to be? And I remember going, I'm going to shoot for the 1,000. Why not? And you know what? As soon as I said it, this little voice in my head said, you're not even silver. Who do you think you are? And I had one person on my team. It was my mom, because don't we all sign up our moms? And I'm just saying, I had a lot of negative self-talk, but guess what? This was November when it started. I signed up in July, and that was in the summer. My business didn't start off like a rocket, like some people did. But guess what? I was planting seed every single day. Every single time I could do it, I was planting seed. I don't know what the heck I was doing, but I was planting something. And when November came, I didn't know if I was going to get that $1,000 bonus. But guess what? November 30th is when I got them all. I got every single thing I was supposed to get on the very last day. Probably at like 11:59, close 1 minute to midnight, I got that last person. But guess what? I'm telling you this to tell you that any given month, a little ambassador can win a huge prize, can go silver, and make big money that month. So anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. But
love that. Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. Heather was the only person on my team to do that. I didn't do it. I couldn't do it. I got one of the bonuses. There were different ones, but not even close to the $1,000 bonus. It was incredible. And that just goes to show, like, set a goal, put your mind to it, and work as hard as you can. If it doesn't happen, even if Heather hadn't gotten the $1,000 bonus, she still could have signed 6 new ambassadors, 7 new ambassadors, because she was working hard towards that one goal. But she still would have grown, even if she didn't make the big achievement she wanted to. But guess what? She did. Maybe you will. So that was awesome, Heather. Okay, so what was the most helpful thing you've done for your business?
Okay, I thought about this long and hard because I have done so many crazy things, and some of them have been great and some of them have flopped. But even on the flops, I don't consider them a failure. I consider it you planted seed, and that seed might just have not come to harvest like you thought it would. But guess what? Every single time I've planted seed, I've gotten a harvest. Not everyone is ready to grow at the same time, and that's okay. We're not robots, and you just have to be patient. But the most practical thing that I have had that I can think to tell you is pick anything. Pick something. A Facebook party, a sip and see, a team meeting, whatever it is. My best advice to you is always have something going on. Always have something that you could be messaging people about. This gives you a reason to reach out to people. You need to have a reason to send a voice message, to send a graphic, to send a message, to say, hey, I don't even care if it's Plexus related, people. I mean, you could be sending something out about, hey, do you want to come to this church thing? Do you want to have something else? Do you want to come go get coffee? It doesn't matter. Have something going on, because guess what? Facebook thinks you're connected even more. And then people start seeing more of your posts. And that just leads to more seed.
I love that. Heather is like the most positive person I know probably, and she is so consistent. And I agree 100%. If you will be consistent and you will plant those seeds, you will at some point, when you're patient, you will see the growth of that. So I just love that. And I love to always have something going on. I think that's like a very, very good tip. And I hope you guys wrote that down. Always have something going on that you can be communicating to your potentials about. Even like she said, even if it's not Plexus, you're developing those relationships and connecting on Facebook even more. Okay, so my next question is, what is your DMO, your daily method of operations that you do every day that you're going to work Plexus?
Okay, I have a very strict DMO because I got a glimpse of Celeste Gwynn, who's in our family tree of Plexus. She's the double diamond, and I saw the vision, and I wanted to go to the top, so I figured I better start doing what she did. So I have a graphic of what she does, and it's the screensaver on my phone. I literally do it. If I don't do it every day, I come pretty darn close, because that's just what I do. But anyway, specifics. I do the 5-3-1. But on the days that I've got something going on, I'm not going to kid you. Honestly, it's like 100, follow up with 30, and read my book. I'm not kidding you. I have done Facebook parties where I didn't just invite them. I personally messaged 100 people to say, hey, girl, I've got this thing going on. Come to this pajama party. I would love to hang out with you. You know, it doesn't matter. Message them. It's not good enough to just throw out an invite. How many invites do you miss on Facebook? I miss a lot. But I don't miss messages because I feel special when I have an inbox message. Anyway, so I do my 5-3-1. And if you really want to bump up your business, just blow 5-3-1 out of the water. Don't even stick with the 5. Make it 20. Make it 30. And yeah, you're going to blow through your network, but guess what? Expand it. Follow up with those people. Do the follow-up formula. I also load my buffer posts. I'm a mom of 4. I work full-time. I do not have time to be on Facebook all day. That drives me crazy. The last thing I want my kids to see is not my face, but the back of my phone. So, and guess what? I'm in network marketing, and I don't have the luxury of not working with Wi-Fi. So I have to find a way to fit that in. So my way of fitting it in is I have this Buffer app. It's free. You can use it. There's all different kinds of apps. There's Tiny Torch. There's Hootsuite. You load your apps and what you want to post on strategic times of the day, and it puts it on Facebook for you, or it puts it on Instagram. It puts it on Twitter for you. It does whatever you tell it to do, and it's free, and it has been a lifesaver for me. I also posted my team page, and I have a customer page because it's just kind of good to separate them. It sounds kind of nutty, but on Facebook, I do take time, and I wish everyone that day who has a birthday, I personally wish them a happy birthday. I do it because I do care about wishing people a happy birthday, but it's a way to trick Facebook into thinking that we're more connected. So those people are then going to see my posts more often. I have to be super intentional because I don't like to be on Facebook that much about posting non-Plexus things, because I don't want my wall to look like a big Plexus ad. So that's what I do. I do that every day.
I love that. I need to have you do just a Facebook training, because you are like the Facebook master and you figured out all those things. And I think it's something that I used to teach a lot back but it's something we haven't touched on in a long time, is all the ways to do social media. So I'm going to write that down and I'm going to put you to work, lady. Okay. How do you stay encouraged when you have setbacks?
Okay. Well, I am a positive person, but Ashley knows that I have messaged her on days when I'm like, I feel like it's just all falling apart. Please talk me off the ledge. But this is what I do. I focus on the stuff that I can change, and I stop focusing on what I can't change. And I can do my DMO every day, my daily method of operation. I can plant seed. I can talk to strangers. And I can give somebody a sample. I can't control when I promote. I can't make someone join my team. I can't make my team duplicate. And I can't control what people think about me. But I can focus on the things that I can change. So that's how I try to stay positive.
I hope you guys wrote that down because that was so good. It is so true. If you waste energy on things that you cannot control, you are setting yourself further back. But when you have a setback, you can either choose to sit and stay there because it's normal to be disappointed. So you can have that moment of disappointment, but then you have to decide, all right, I took a step back. I need to take 14 steps forward and keep moving along. So that's what I would encourage you to do. Are you good?
Sorry.
That's all right.
Emma just got home from the shower.
I have no room to judge you. As you can hear, it's a little crazy here too. And I hope you guys can hear me okay. So sorry. Okay, so a couple more questions. If you could go back and do one thing differently in your first month with Plexus, what would that thing be?
I would have hit the ground running faster, sooner. I would have hit the ground running in July. I think I was only messaging people when Ashley would throw out a thing about like, do this weekend challenge, message 15 people and blah, blah, blah. Well, so I would do it because, of course, I wanted to be on the prize. But guess what? Sometimes you win a prize, sometimes you don't. And that's okay. It's always good to get pushed out of your comfort zone. But really, did you need a contest to work your business? You are the one that is in control. And if you don't want to work, then you don't get paid. I wanted paid. So I was going to work.
I think that's good advice to right out of the gate, as soon as you sign up, start to work, and also help your team. As soon as they sign up, right out of the gate, start to work, especially if they are wanting to work. And even if they're not, help them, get their products paid for, get their closest friends and family, go silver, whatever you can do to help them with that. One way you can help them with that, sorry, I'm getting a little off topic here, is something that Liz was talking about, three-way calls. And I don't know if I said this. I thought it was she was saying it. If you are on Liz's team and you are not taking advantage of her three-way Zoom calls or three-way calls, you are crazy. She is a wizard at three-way calls. You need to get on those. You need to do them and then learn from her and do them yourself. No one should be afraid to do a three-way call under any circumstance. You guys know what you're doing. Ask them what they want to get out of it. Tell them about the triplex. Tell them the 2 ways to order and help them get started. And then do three-way calls with that person. Those are great, duplicatable, easy, quick ways to grow your business. So if someone signs up with you and they just want their products paid for or just want to go silver, they don't even see the big picture yet, do three-way calls and help them do that. So right out of the gate, start working. If you're new and you need to right out of the gate start working, you will be sorry if you wait. Heather, sorry that she waited. She wishes she would have started earlier. So, and I think anyone would say that. Anyone that's doing well now that waited and they just dabble, I think that's kind of what people tend to do. And that's okay. A lot of people that have been successful have done that. But help your team not make that same mistake. Encourage them to jump in. Teach them how they get paid. I wish I would have showed Heather how we get paid faster. I wish that I would have pushed her a little bit more because she obviously had it in her. So we can all look at that, but just right out of the gate, help people start being successful and help them to start working right out of the gate. Okay. Next question is the favorite book you've read so far, Heather.
I have to go with Liz on this one. Rock Your Network Marketing by Sarah Robbins. That has been awesome. I did read Eric Worre's book, GoPro. However, Sarah is just so much more down to earth. It's so easy to read. It's so easy to understand. The examples and the tools she gives you are so practical. Anybody can do it. So, good books. But
she's
I love
super
Sarah's.
relatable. She's just a young, cute teacher. She was shy. She says, I'm a formerly shy teacher, now making a whatever 7-figure income or something. So, I mean, that's very relatable. So I love that book too. You guys got to read that. It's so good. So anyway, I think that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you so much, Liz. I'm going to open it up I'm going to stop recording first of all.